and welcome to Mike Nierychlo ONLiNE, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. Okay, first things first. I feel like I owe all of you a little bit of an explanation. It has been over 2 months since I have posted any sort of new content on the website, and for that I feel like I owe you my sincerest apology. Life has thrown a major curveball or change at me over the last couple of months. I'll explain. As a lot of you know or have followed the show, we started out in the wine garage. Fantastic little fun part of my home where we've been making hobby wine, working on our ONLiNE schools. When I say our, myself and my brother-in-law, Mike, or Mike and Mike. Did lots of fun interviews in there, tasted tons of wine, great food, etc. More recently, we've transitioned into the wine coop. My childhood chicken coop, which we've completely cleaned out, trust me on that one, cleaned out and refurbished into a much more intentional, small-scale winemaking or hobby winemaking facility for Mike and Mike, or myself and my brother-in-law, to fine-tune or hone in our hobby winemaking skills. And like I've mentioned in the past, the more we learn, the less we feel like we know. It's a humbling experience, but it's a fantastic experience. It gets us super excited. Now, you feel like I'm segueing off here. Don't worry, I'm not. The wine garage and the wine coop were both located in Langley, beautiful British Columbia. I no longer live in Langley, beautiful British Columbia. Myself, my wife Robin, and all of our stuff jumped on a small cruise, we'll call it that, a ferry from Vancouver over to Vancouver Island. We now live in Victoria, beautiful British Columbia. Now, a lot of people have asked, why did you move to Victoria? Why Victoria? If I were to explain to you all the reasons why I moved to Victoria, this episode would be ridiculously too long. Probably wouldn't even upload. Therefore, I'm not going to. What I will tell you is Victoria is an epic city. That's all. For me, it is an epic city. I love it here. The food scene here blows my mind. The beer scene here blows my mind. And most importantly, the wine scene here is absolutely fantastic. The people here are so passionate about everything they make, whether they're baking bread, whether they're making beer, whether they're making wine, cheese, charcuterie. They're so passionate about what they're doing. And it's in such a tight community. That's a super exciting place to be a part of. That's one major component of why we've moved over here. Not to mention a bunch of other little details. We're in a cute little lot right in the city. I've got a great tiny little vineyard started on my property here. Super stoked to follow you up or keep you going with that so you guys can see the progress of my babies growing, my vines growing. Like, okay, here's a small problem we have in Victoria right now. It's turning into a big problem. There's a lot of deer in this city, and they're protected. And they're getting into our gardens and chomping our vegetables, etc. They chomped a few of my vines lately. Kind of broke my heart. That's why I call them my babies. Anyway, I'll keep you up to date on what the vines look like as they grow. Super fun little project of my own. Don't worry, the wine coop, even though it's back in Langley, it's not far away, is still an ongoing project. We're still working on that. We have big plans for that, which we may get into later on the show. So that's where I've been. That's where things are at, and I am stoked to continue to get more content online for you, and I'm hoping to really showcase what this amazing city has to offer in the near future. Okay. One announcement. I'm looking, I got a cheat sheet down here. I haven't done this in a little while. Kind of feel rusty. Cheat sheet. What's the next thing? Number 4. For those of you who haven't been checking out, and I really appreciate those of you who have, check out the Wine Adventures of Mike and Mike. That'll highlight a little bit more of our hobby winemaking adventures. I've also just posted a brand new slideshow as to where the wine coop construction is at. Last time we worked on it, we were actually far enough along in the coop to be able to do a little bit of work on one of the wines that we need to bottle in the near future. But we've done some work on it, and we're pretty excited about how it's coming along. Okay, enough about that. It's time to taste some wine. That's what we do. To highlight this new experience, new place I live, I'm super stoked to share with you today some Vancouver Island wine. Now, there is a great variety here on Vancouver Island that has blown my mind pretty much every time I've tasted it across the board. It's hard to find a bad Pinot Noir from Vancouver Island. Now, Vancouver Island, our climate here is not South Okanagan. Our climate here is not California. It's not Australia. It's definitely a slightly cooler climate. So you get the much more juicy, acidic style of wines here. You get your really bright whites, your bright, juicy, aromatic whites. You get your same sort of reds, your bright, juicy, acidic style of reds. So Pinot Noir does extremely well here. I've tasted quite a few Pinot Noirs on the island, and every time I've really enjoyed them. They're a very transparent style of grape, very delicate style of grape, which really show off what the terroir, or the place that's growing, has to offer. I've chosen for you, well, I haven't personally chosen, I've got 3 estate Pinot Noirs for you. Side note, I ran over to the Cook Street Village liquor store and asked them to please, can you bag 3 Vancouver Island Pinot Noirs for me? I want to do a blind tasting of them. So I actually have no idea whose Pinot Noirs I'm tasting, and I'm super stoked to go through them. Now I've chosen, I said specifically, give me 3 estate Pinot Noirs. I don't want the, for lack of a better term, the reserve Pinot Noirs. I want the estate Pinot Noirs. In my opinion, I can keep it to myself, but I'm going to share it with you. In my opinion, anytime I've tasted Pinot Noir, there's a funny trend in the wine world right now. A lot of people are really embracing, it seems like the trend is fizzling, but embracing using a lot of new oak. Now, Pinot Noir is a very impressionable grape, we'll put it that way. New oak can really hide a lot of what Pinot Noir has to offer. So a lot of wineries, when they sell their estate Pinot Noir, they're using older oak barrels, which don't offer as much in-your-face oak flavors. Now, not that new oak doesn't have a place in wine making. It's fantastic in certain applications. It works really well in your big Bordeaux blends and all those things. Personally, in Pinot Noir, I really like and I appreciate the really juicy, fruity style of Pinot Noir that really shows off a sense of place. Therefore, estate Pinot Noirs, plus you tend to get, in my opinion, pretty decent bang for buck in your estate Pinot Noirs. Anyway, let's get right into it. Blind wines. I know I'm tasting Pinot Noir from the island. That's all I know. Wine A. Let's have a look at the bottle there. Wine A. See what it has to offer. I haven't tasted wine with you guys in a while. I'm pretty stoked to be on camera again. Alright. Smells like Pinot Noir. Hey, hold on a sec for this one. Whoa. Wine A. Man, I don't even know if I want to taste the other 2. Wine A is just kind of trapped me. Alright, I told you I went to Cook Street Liquor Store and asked them, oh, and here's a side note, below the video, anything I mention on today's episode, because it's kind of a special episode to me, anything I mention, there will be links below the episode for everybody. Cook Street Liquor Store, a few other announcements I have to make as well. On the nose is Pinot. This is a beautiful nose. It's rustic, it's barnyardy, it's got a lot of neat, almost forest floor characteristics. It smells like place. Yeah, like I said, it's almost barnyardy. It smells like the dirt it came from. Now with that said, those are the kind of the subtle nuances I'm getting from it, the subtle, delicate aromas. Up front you get beautiful, bright, ripe red cherries. Maybe some red currant in there, definitely some raspberry, strawberry. Beautiful nose, but extremely authentic. Now I'm hoping they didn't sneak a Burgundy in here on me, because this reminds me of a Burgundy. Okay. Wow, that's a nice wine. I like that a lot. Wine A is a hit. Wine A is a hit already. Authentic, terroir-driven, super juicy Pinot Noir. Very balanced mouthfeel, extremely, like I said, juicy, refreshing, nice acidity, just clean. Be super food-friendly wine. These are the kind of wines that work really well with your really fatty cheeses or your fatty meats, your charcuteries, things like that. It cuts right through the fat. Makes the next bite even better. Another thing with Pinot Noir, delicate grape. I've mentioned this about a gazillion times on the show, but the color of it really reflects the delicacy of it. So wine A, whatever it is worth checking out. Okay, wine B. Go for a little bit of a rinse here so we're not tainting our glass. We understand all the wines. Wine B. Off the bat, wine B. Okay, it's lighter in color than wine A. Lighter in color. Delicate Pinot Noir. Wow. Okay, completely different nose from wine A. Wine A definitely had that, what's even a better term? I want to say poopy. Had that barnyardy, manure-y, earthy driven, balanced Pinot Noir, like terroir driven aroma. Wine B has a very vibrant, fresh, aromatic nose. Stylistically extremely different, but I'm going to appreciate it just as much, I can tell. Reminds me almost more of a New Zealand Pinot Noir as opposed to a Burgundy. Yeah, this is like a New Zealand Pinot Noir. It's got that kind of a bright cherry bubblegum, almost like a Hubba Bubble bubblegum. Yeah, interesting, like candied cherries. When I say candied cherries, I'm thinking like Jolly Ranchers, that sort of stuff. Almost hints of like a really ripe apple too. I like that. I like that a lot. It's got those cherries, it's got some raspberry, strawberry in there too. Okay, so far I can't spit either of those. Wow, the palate of this reflects the nose like crazy. Juicy, bright, aromatic. Wow, it's a fun wine. That reminds me of raspberry juice, bubblegum. Definitely got that cherry bubblegum or candied cherry flavor to it. All over the place. Bright, juicy, refreshing, great wine for this time of year. Nice summer wine. This would be a great summer barbecue wine. Again, reminds me of a New Zealand Pinot Noir. I like that a lot. Maybe they're screwing with me. Maybe they stuck a Burgundy and a New Zealand Pinot Noir in here. Really interesting so far. First two wines are definitely a hit. Check them out. Super excited to see what they are. I've also got my receipt hidden here so I can tell you what they're worth. Wine C. Go for a bit of a rinse. See where we're at. Wine C. Alright. Color of wine C, kind of right in between wine A and B. Oh. See, like I said, this is why I wanted to showcase Island Pinot Noir for you. I have not been disappointed in an Island Pinot Noir yet. Okay. Okay, so far all of these are a hit. Definitely. This one is a little bit more like wine B. Doesn't have so much of that aromatic. It has tons of aromatics coming out of it. Not so much of that authentic dirt, kind of terroir driven. Super juicy like wine B. Super juicy, bright acidity. I'm going to say kind of more apples and currants. Apples and currants and cranberries on this one. I like this wine too. Super juicy. Kind of an apple, cranberry, raspberry juice. Nice little blend. The flavors come out of that. Bright, juicy, aromatic. Another good kind of summer wine. Okay. All good wines. Thank you so much, Cook Street Village Liquor Store, for providing those for me. Oh, I still didn't pay for them. But for lining these up for me, bagging them so I can take a look at them. Let's see what we're doing. Let's start with wine C. Start with wine A. Wine C. Okay. Wine C. Averill Creek, 2008 Pinot Noir. Now, Averill Creek, we've had them on the show before. Andy Johnston. They're one of the big players in the island. Such a nice Pinot Noir. I like that a lot. They're trying to make some fantastic Pinot Noir. That's their goal. He's mentioned that he wanted us to make some of the best Pinot Noir in the world. This was definitely a nice example of Pinot Noir. 12% alcohol. I love that. Not too high. A good wine, just juicy, approachable, nice wine. Sip on a summer afternoon. I'll tell you the price in a second once I discover all the wine. Wine B. Zanata. The 2009 Zanata Winery. Pinot Nero, they call it. There we go. Well, why are they calling it Pinot Noir? It's a good question. I'll have to find out. Anyway, this is their Pinot Noir. Beautiful, nice wine. I like that one a lot. Like I said, it reminds me of a New Zealand Pinot. Bubblegummy, juicy, candied cherries. Super fun wine. And wine A. Now here's the thing. I can't pick a favorite out of all these. I would love to. Maybe personally to my palate, I really like wine A because of its authenticity. We'll put it that way. It's got so much earthiness to it. And it's got all that fruit flavor. Blue Grouse, 2006 Pinot Noir. Now Blue Grouse, I know a little bit about Blue Grouse. That's a nice Pinot Noir. I like that a lot. And it's the 06, so it's got some time to it. Blue Grouse is one of the oldest estate wineries on Vancouver Island. I've met Hans, the owner. Brilliant old German guy. He's stuck to his guns all this time, been making wine very well. Blue Grouse was recently sold to some new owners. I wish all the best to them. I hope that they continue to make wine this good. There we go. 3 great examples of the wines that I appreciate coming from Vancouver Island, and one of the reasons why I now live here. Let's see what they're going for. Okay, so the Averill Creek was 26 bucks for that wine. Not bad. The Zenata, $22. Definitely some value there. And the Blue Grouse is $30. 3 nice wines within the $20 to $30 range. Fantastic wine from Vancouver Island. I'm going to carry on sipping here while I finish the episode off. One other quick announcement I'd like to make. This is going to be the new setting for the show for a while. We're sitting in my office. Behind me here, my new wine cabinet. I want to say a very, very, very special thanks and shout out to a good friend of mine, Dwayne Gonzalez. Dwayne owns a company called ONLiNE Design. Check this out. Looks like an old armoire. Nope. It's a wine cabinet. He specially designed it for me. I appreciate it very much, Dwayne. You've done a fantastic job. Beautiful cabinet, beautiful place to stick all my wines. Thank you so much. If you'd like to check out ONLiNE Design, I will have a link to them below the video. Super nice guy. He will take care of you, and he makes fantastic, absolutely fantastic custom furniture, and he is so passionate about, well, he's one of those people who falls into the category of all things made passionately. Passionate about making custom furniture. Alright, I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there, so much for watching today. Thank you again for being patient for the last 2 months, waiting for me to release another episode. I am so stoked for the future of the show, stoked for the future of my new life on Vancouver Island. All the links mentioned in the show will be below the video. Don't know what else to say, but there is one thing I must say. Wine! Depretentious-sized, coming to you from Vancouver Island. All the best to all of you out there, and we'll see you on the next episode.